Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 6 for C class. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Hervina Rahmawati Fatimah and my friend.
My name is Hani Fitriyah.
My name is Herawati.
My name is Malya Anisa.
We will presenting about making inferences. First, about making inferences definition. An inference is a conclusion that a reader makes while reading or after reading. This conclusion is based on what the reader knows outside of this text plus information that is presented in the text, like a guess. If you're making an inference while reading, you're making a guess about what you don't know based on the information available. Basically, you're reading between the lines. You can use your prior knowledge and textual information to draw conclusions, make critical judgments, and form interpretations of the text. You make inferences every day. Maybe you are able to finish your friend's sentence because of the information they've already given you. Maybe you predict the ending of a movie before it comes. Maybe you can tell what singer is on the radio based on the sound of their voice and the topic of their song. All of these are things you've discovered based on surrounding facts, not actual knowledge. All of these are inferences. Reading is an active, reflective, problem-solving process. You don't just want to read words, you also want to understand the deeper ideas the author is trying to communicate. When you're reading, it's helpful to look for patterns or relationships in the text that might shed greater light on the subject. The next material will be presented by my friends.
How do you make an inference? You make inferences by using observations and experience to connect clues and ideas and come to same conclusion. For instance, if you see a woman pushing a baby stroller down the sidewalk, you can infer that there is a baby in the stroller. It is important to remember that making an inference is not the same as making a wild guess. You wouldn't infer that a cactus or a lamb were in the stroller. To make inferences while you are reading, take two or more details from the text and try to connect them and draw a reasonable conclusion. Next. Types of inferences. First, there is inferences from context. You can infer meaning from the context of a search. Context is the stuff surrounding a text like the time, location, and other influences to determine context. You can look at setting or time and or place it was written. The situation the author is responding to an event, issue, or problem influencing the search. Three, a type of publication like news, search, research, report, blog, post, novel. Uh, Four, author background. Who are they? What kind of stuff do they write about? Second is inference from tone. You can infer what an author means by looking at their tone. The tone is the attitude an author takes when writing. To determine tone, you can look at one descriptive words in the search, or do the adjectives and adverbs sound sarcastic, angry, impassioned. Two feelings the search brings up, or how does the search make you feel? Does the author seem to intend you to feel that way? Third, inference from example. You can look for an author's meaning in their example. Sometimes the examples and an author use so things the author doesn't know how to say. To infer from examples, you can ask yourself, why did the author choose these examples? Two, what feelings does this example give me? 3. What can we learn from these examples that the author doesn't directly state? Next will be presented by my friend.
Steps for making an inferences. The steps for making an inference are: read the source to identify the genre, come up with a question, identify clues, make an educated guess, and support that guess with evidence. Together, these steps will help you make inferences for your writing. Number one, read the source and identify the genre. To make inferences, it helps to read the source. Read your source carefully and take notes on the following features. What is the genre? What is the purpose? What is the main idea? What effect does the author intend to have on the reader? A genre is a category or type of text. For example, science fiction is a genre of creative writing. Opinion editorial is a genre of journalistic writing. Genres are defined by their purpose and features. For example, a news report aims to convey facts and up-to-date information. Therefore, news reports include facts, statistics, and quotes from interviews. However, another journalistic genre, the opinion editorial op-ed, has a different purpose. Its purpose is to share an opinion about a subject. When reading a source, try to identify the genre, purpose, and intended effects. This will help you draw inferences. Number two, come up with a question. What is it you want to know about your search? What information or ideas were you hoping to get from it? Consider this carefully, then write out your questions. For instance, in the previous example, you wanted to know whether social media was good or bad for children. You might have asked, is social media more harmful or helpful for children? If you don't have a specific question to ask, you can always start with general questions. Here are some general questions to start with. What are the goals of the search? What does the author think about? What is the author trying to imply about my subject? What does the author think is important or irrelevant? Why does the author think happens or happened? Number three, identify clues. To answer your questions, it is time to put on that the detective hat. Read the source closely, identify clues along the way, look for the context, tone, or examples used by the author. Do they give any clues to answer your questions? Write down anything you learn from your clues. For instance, in the example above, you might have identified descriptive words that show the author's tone and written them down. Track the clues you find, highlight, underline, circle, and take notes on your search. If your search is online, print it out so you can do this. If the search is something you can write on, like a library book, use sticky notes to mark important clues, make them easy to find later. Next, number four, make an educated guess. Try to answer your question, examine your clues carefully, and use them to develop a tentative answer. For instance, in the above example, your tentative answer might have been social media is more harmful than helpful for children. Number five is explain and support your inferences. You have an answer. Now explain how you got there, select evidence, the clues you found from the search. You can also select evidence from other sources for context. For instance, in the above example, you might use a direct quote from the source to show the author's tone. The next will be explained by my friend.
Inference in a sentence. To write an inference in a sentence, state your point, support it with evidence, and bring it all together. Your sentence should make clear what you have inferred from the text. They should include evidence from the source to show how you made the inference. The connections between the evidence and your inference should be clear. Next. Example of an inference. For the first, Alex had a frown on his face and was dragging his feet as he walked. So you can infer that he is having a bad day. Second, Sam always order a salad from his favorite restaurant. So you can infer that he will do the same the next time he goes there. Next, Kim's baby made a disgust face after trying a new food. So you can infer that the baby does not like the new food. And the last, I am excited to go back home, said Caleb as he pulled several large suitcases toward the car. From this sentence, you can infer that Caleb has been away from home for some time due to his excitement and the number of suitcases he's carrying. Next.
That is the end of this presentation. Sorry if there are any mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.